For this podcast, right? What I want to do is I want to dive deep into this the e-com space, like
Yeah,
you call it, right? And I think the agenda, my main objective is because you're an expert at e-com. I want to kind of understand how does a brand go from zero to one, right?
got it.
How do you go from or just a brand who's your idea in your mind to like kind of validating your product to finding product market fit? What is that journey like? All right.
Got it.
That's the yeah. I think that's what I want to understand. So, what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to this?
See, I think during the initial start or the pre-launch, so what I usually tell brands is that there are three phases in which the brand has to be launched. There is a pre-launch phase, there is a launch phase, and a post-launch phase. Now, where the brand is at is very important when you're taking decisions. So, for example, if you think of a brand that is just starting off,
Yeah.
they do not have a website, they do not have a product. There's just an idea in the mind that I want to do something in skincare, for example.
For example,
Now, this becomes a very cluttered industry because of the competition, because of the way things have moved in the entire space. There
correct.
have been big names and all. So now it's a cluttered space, but still, I would say the market is big enough for 1,000 more brands to be made in
Hmm.
India itself because of how people are and consumers are reacting. So the first pre-launch phase ideally takes care of a lot of GTM strategies and market research.
Hmm.
So mostly founders have to start with market research
Hmm.
of what is happening into the industry,
Correct.
taking data from marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, anywhere that data is available. So usually data is a lot more available on marketplaces in terms of trends.
Hmm.
So, for
Correct.
example, going on brands that are very similar to you. For example, you're launching a sunscreen,
Hmm.
and you have to know what are the top 10 sunscreens that are moving in India. Simply going on a tool like Helium 10
Hmm.
on your Amazon will give you a lot of idea regarding how the bigger brands are moving, what are the trends, which product inside the SPF is SPF 50 moving or 55 or 60.
Hmm.
These are minute details. Then doing a research on, so this is more of primary research in terms of,
When you do
uh,
this helium 10 thing,
yeah,
can you also see like okay in this demographic, like let's say in Mumbai or
yeah.
Maharashtra or Bangalore, right? This is what is selling. You can also like go down to those specifics also.
Amazon cannot provide you that data, but then Google can. So Google Trends becomes the other important tool when you're checking trends.
Hmm.
So you can select geographies as minute as a state. City level target. This thing is not yet allowed.
Correct.
So I think that data is a bit tricky. But you have to
But
like
you can do country level. You can do country
yeah,
level.
you can get country level, you can get state level as well. But if the brand has a Google My Business or something like that, like if
Hmm.
it's a retail brand, and then you can check your Google My Business locations, check the heat maps and stuff. So that is more complex in terms of doing it for like offline retail brands. But then just sticking to an online brand, if you do not have any data, it's better to rely more on marketplace numbers and marketplace reviews.
And helium
So
10 is the go-to for that.
yeah, Helium 10 is the go-to for that. You can also do a lot of Google scraping in terms of keywords, like how are certain people reacting to a certain keyword. Like if there is a demand for SPF 70 in the market, so you need to go through a lot of Google keywords regarding SPF 70. Are people okay with it? Are people having a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment? So all these things come to a place where finally you get enough data to figure out which product to launch. Then after that comes the launch phase, usually for brands. And over there, a lot of brands.
One
Yeah.
second, right? So we are let's say like you and I are co-founders. We want to start a skincare brand, right?
Yes.
It's very crowded, right? We'll call this brand X. Okay. Now you said that even though the market is really crowded, India may you can still make around 1,000 more brands.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
demand is also equally high for skincare, right?
The demand is high, and it's not just the demand. Actually, it is the demand for trying new products.
Hmm. Okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say the thing is that if you are launching a sunscreen,
Hmm.
uh, there is a lot of audience that is looking for a lot of products into the sunscreen. For example, someone is looking for coffee in the sunscreen, someone is looking for a moisturizer plus a sunscreen. So there are many combinations that can still happen in something like a sunscreen.
Got it.
Actually, the biggest selling products when it comes to skincare, even in India, being like I would say the market is not that mature for skincare yet in India because only tier one is using like all the products. But when you go to like tier two and tier three in the skincare market, there are only three, four main products that people know about. One is sunscreen, second is moisturizer, and the third is face wash. These are three very broad terms. So if you have one product in each of these, you can have a significant run like to start with these products. So it shouldn't be too niche in terms of the category of the product. The product should be used by everyone, but then the USP of the product has to be very niche. There has
Okay,
to be
so you're saying big TAM but a smaller niche, because
yeah,
even if
yes,
I'm in your TAM, but I might not like look out. I would not really want that niche product, but you can kind of make me want it.
yes, you can make we can make you want the product because of a very different USP that you may get attracted to.
Got it. Got
Yeah,
it. So the first thing is, with all these marketplace research tools like Helium 10, Google, there's all this stuff, right? Try to
yeah.
find like where the gap in the market is. Like what is the
Yes,
first
100%.
product we can sell, essentially, right?
See, the identifying the gap over there is important, majorly in FMCG kind of products, because these products are not going on their design. These
Hmm.
products are not going to sell just on your communication. These products are going to sell if the consumer wants it.
Hmm.
No matter how much budgets you have in terms of pushing these products, if there is no need for the product and if people are not getting curious about it, it won't work. So that research part for FMCG products is highly important.
Hmm.
If you are in fashion or if you are in something like apparel accessories, you still have a chance of launching products and then taking it out of the inventory and launching different series and stuff. So there is much lesser risk there in terms of launching a brand in apparel because you will be able to have a lot of collections on your product, and one of the collections might interest someone and they take it. It's more subjective.
Hmm.
But when it comes to FMCG products, it's more of even food
Hmm.
and healthcare, like nutraceutical and everything. People do a lot of research around the product. And
So you're saying need and curious, right? There has to be
yes,
a need because you can't create the need. With
yeah,
probably
it's
with
very
fashion you
difficult to
can.
create the need. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very difficult, or maybe you need funds to create the need. I mean, yeah, you'll have to pump in, you'll have to burn a lot of money to do that. I think in terms of caffeine, that is what happened. Like that, there was no exact need of a coffee-based scrub, but then the budgets that got pumped and the awareness that got created, it created a different space into the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, a whole new category, right?
Yeah,
You made a category.
entirely new category. Same thing happened with Sleepy Owl as well. Cold coffee was not there in the market. People cold brew coffee.
Hmm.
They had to create a market for cold brew coffee, and initially the first 4 years actually went in doing that. So the entire budgets went in creating awareness regarding the product, and category making was the biggest chunk where the performance spends went for them.
Got it. So when you say curious, Atharva, like you mean there have to be some kind of intrigue towards what is this cold coffee thing sold
Yes,
in sachet, right?
yes.
Okay, got it. And do you think this curiosity is baked into the product, or is it something which comes from the marketing?
I think it can be done both ways. You can put it in the product as well, and you can do it with marketing as well. But I would say if you're doing it instill into the product itself, your marketing budgets are going to be much lower. Because we have seen instances of like a sunscreen spray being introduced to India from a veteran founder, the founder of Paperboat. So he left Paperboat and he's starting a new firm, and he launched a different type of a sunscreen where you have to spray the sunscreen on the face. But India is not yet ready for it because not many people know why a spray would be needed in the form of like the sunscreen in the form of a spray. So these are products where even though you push a lot, it's gonna take a very big like the learning curve is going to be very high for the audience because there's no curiosity like how can this be done because there are products already available to do that unless and until now the trick is you have to do it via marketing.
Hmm.
You have to put the thing of this is India's first sunscreen spray. You have to pull the trick of doing curiosity that you need to try this if you haven't tried.
Got it. So in this pre-launch phase, right, we have done our market research, right?
Yeah,
We find out that listen, this particular SPF sunscreen is like really popping off, all right?
yeah,
But there is no, let's say, vitamin E plus something, right? So you find a unique
yeah.
version in the market, right? So now we
True.
know कि हमारा जो brand है X, इसमें we'll start with this particular SKU first, right? It
Yeah.
will do well, and then we'll capitalize and go from there, right? What is
Yes.
step two?
So now I think step two is identifying the channels in terms of launch, like which channel do you launch on? So the channels for something in FMCG would include like website comes first, 100%. You'll make a Shopify store, you'll get the entire store live. You'll get yourself listed on marketplaces. if you have a chance, you can get yourself listed on quick commerce platforms as well. Which channel to start advertising on
Correct.
becomes important.
And
Yeah,
this is actually like, this is where they start debating. I've heard people go like, first start with D2C because there's better
yeah,
margins there. Then
true.
they go like, no, 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 I can't spend on marketing. Without Amazon itself, they already have demand created, right?
True.
So like, what do you think is the best way to go? I know the best answer, it depends, but what do you think would be the
Um,
best thing?
yeah, I think, see, if we can narrow it down to category wise, like if you could just tell me a category. So,
So
for
the thing is, right
example,
now we are at skincare. We are a
yeah, so
skincare
now
market.
right now, if we are at skincare, then ideally you should be on your website and Amazon alone. That's it. Like, and if you have Nika as well in your list, you can just be available there. But I would say start marketing on your D2C itself.
Why?
Because yeah, why? See, Amazon is not going to be able to make justice to the USPs of the product. You won't be able to story tell about the product.
Correct.
It's very difficult to do that,
Correct.
and you will get lost into the sea where your product is being compared to a lot of other products which have better reviews, a lot of reviews apart from you. Even though you have the best product in the market and the only product in the market to do that, there is a lot of competition when it comes to pulling attention on Amazon.
Hmm.
Uh, that part, if you had to negate, then Amazon would be the first channel to start. But currently, it's not possible.
So you're saying that when there is, you're saying you can't tell your story on Amazon, right?
Yeah, you can't easily build up a story on Amazon for your brand or your
Correct.
product.
So you can't build a
And
brand
if
essentially
you're
on
coming
Amazon.
new into the market, you need to do that. You shouldn't be focusing just on sales from day one, honestly. So D2C becomes the best channel to start for a skincare brand so that you can create a bit of awareness around the product. You can create that curiosity around the entire product, have a few samples given out at a very cheap price or something like that. All these things can be done on D2C alone. You can't make that experience on Amazon. But eventually, what happens when it comes to FMCG, and now it is much more evident, like in 2024, you can see it very evident with respect to like 2021, is that the consumer comes on D2C, gets to know about the brand. They check everything about the brand, what products are available, they learn about the product, and they go to the preferred marketplace to buy the product.
Correct.
So everyone has a preferred marketplace to buy a different kind of category right now in India.
Correct.
If you ask me, I would buy a skincare product easily on Amazon, or if available, I would go to Blinkit. So
Correct.
even though there is D2C, I would use it as a channel to make
Awareness.
myself aware regarding the product, more as a listicle, honestly,
Correct.
to gain complete knowledge of the product. So there's this brand called Sacred Groove, which I got intrigued by 3-4 months back.
What do they do?
So it's a shampoo, so they are completely natural. Now the thing that I had to do is I went through the website, I checked the entire ingredients because it's much more easy to do that on the website. It's very clearly listed, check the users and everything. But in the end, I went to Amazon to check the product, the price, and I made the final decision of purchase over there.
Hmm.
In this case, does the brand lose? Is a question from for most of the brands. Like people came to my D2C, I've spent so much money to do marketing on my D2C, but eventually people are going to Amazon and I have to give that commission to Amazon. So am I not doing the right thing? I think over here the biggest question is you cannot serve everyone on your website.
Hmm.
So ideally, what happens is if someone is like into the curious zone and the intent is very high for a customer, they will buy straight away from the website. But what about the rest of the people? They will land on your marketplace. You have to be available over there, even though you do not market it. This is
Yeah.
your
So
preference.
it's basically like for my mother, right? Like normally I buy from D2C because I feel more
Yeah,
comfortable doing that. My
yeah,
mom will look at some brand on D2C, go to Amazon and then buy it. That's just her
yes.
buying behavior because she trusts Amazon more. She's
Yeah,
like,
they usually a lot of buyers trust the seller in that case, the entire ecosystem.
no,
So at least they can use, or maybe a lot of people have their cards already put over there. It's much more easier to just address is saved. A
probably.
lot of convenience is already there. Yeah, so you just have to just click the button. So when D2C, there's still that curve of adding your address, putting your phone number, maybe getting an OTP to do the entire transaction. There's still that hassle
But the
on
key insight,
marketplaces.
Atharva, here is the fact that even
Yeah,
when they're buying on Amazon, they're
true.
getting the consideration phase is happening on the website because there's more
Yes.
story and more awareness there. So it's
Yes.
not like Amazon में आ रहा है तो you remove your D2C completely. It is acting
No,
as
no,
a
no, no, no. So there is a direct, I would say, correlation that we have seen. So for brands, we have also experimented where we told them to shut off their D2C spends completely and check the impact on Amazon. And it was very evident that 40% of the revenues lost just by pausing your Facebook and Google ads, because honestly, that is where your funnel is getting filled from. There is no way you can have that kind of top of the funnel awareness happening from Amazon.
Hmm.
So I mean, earlier in the days, the entire discovery used to be from channels like Bollywood, cinemas, like products shown inside cinemas, and TVs and TV commercials. So if
Correct.
you've seen a product on a TV commercial, you'll talk about it. That I've seen Santur ka ad on TV. But now, if Santur still does TV commercials and does not do like Facebook and Meta ads and where the consumer is, their even retail sales are down. Like honestly,
Correct.
because we are working with a lot of omni-channel brands, we are seeing that the shift from traditional channels like a TV is being spent more on something like Facebook and Meta.
Hmm.
So with the same ads, like honestly, the creatives and everything still remains the same. The hooks and all change a bit, but the channel is changing very rapidly where you're doing your awareness. So now people will be like, I've seen this brand for the first time on Instagram, or maybe for the first time on Spotify ads, for example, if any brand is doing that. No more do you hear that I've seen this brand on TV.
Okay,
Very rare.
so I want to do this, right? I'm a skincare brand, so I do Amazon, Nykaa, D2C. Okay. Now
Yeah,
let's say I'm a different brand. Give me a different
yeah,
brand where you would do a different kind of channel, kind of strategy.
yes.
It's a
I
different
think,
kind of category, huh?
yeah, a different kind of category, maybe something like jewelry, or
Acha.
let's do luxury. Like for example,
Okay.
now why luxury is because it is very difficult to find those people who are attracted to luxury goods on something like Meta. It is not that straightforward that I only target people who are earning more than 20 lakhs or something like a random number who will get attracted to a product. So we have worked with a lot of like luxury brands all the way from ticket prices of 3-4 lakhs a single product
Hmm.
and to 10K. So anything above 15-20K on the website would be falling in the luxury category in India,
Hmm.
honestly. We
Hmm.
have sold bags worth 40K, 50K in single transactions for brands.
Hmm.
And that is where we realize that there is a luxury market, but then it's very difficult to target them. Honestly, what you should be doing in terms of luxury brands is you should be doing more of affiliates first rather than starting your Meta and Google ads, because your funnel starts from there. If you are doing a lot of Meta in the start, you will be going to a lot of people. You will get 100 people to your website, but the chance of someone actually being a real part or with very high intent out of that is going to be very small.
When you
So
say
you should,
affiliate, do you mean like influencer-led affiliates?
yes, influencer led affiliate. So, for example, if you're doing a luxury handbag, rather than starting your Meta first, you should be doing an influencer campaign with a similar kind of a budget
Hmm.
and send the influencer campaigns traffic to your
Yeah.
website and then start remarketing from them.
Hmm.
That would be more bucks for the same strategy.
Got it. Yeah. That makes sense.
Mainly because Meta now has changed a lot and it is driven completely by creativity
Yeah.
and AI more than your targeting. So honestly, finding the right intent audience from there or attracting that is only going to be dependent on your creativity. And also, if you do that, you're also going to get a lot of low intent audience along with the high intent audience. I would say
I
that
think it's
is,
also because Meta has to give you a lot of people, and
yeah.
luxury में उतने लोग नहीं हैं. So I feel it'll give you a lot of young people also.
It will be a lot of young people. It will be a lot of people
No, I
who
mean
are
like
just,
young people.
yeah. So, for example, if you're selling a luxury handbag, it is very intuitive that you'll put Prada, Louis Vuitton, and all these things into your audience. But 95% of the audience who's there in that interest group is just followers of those brands, not
Hmm.
actual buyers. So, how do you get the buyer? Getting the buyer is going to be possible via putting your news out on publishers like that there is a new brand that has being launched into the market and that is the best thing that you can try. You might get a lesser audience to your website, like you might not get 10,000 people to the website in the initial days,
Hmm.
but then whoever is coming to the website is going to be very genuine. So if you start remarketing after that, the chances of you converting are much more faster, honestly, if you're launching a brand.
Got it.
So what we have seen a struggle for luxury brands in India is they start with Meta, they wait for 6 7 months, and then they realize, oh, my audience is not here. I'm getting a lot of fake followers on my page. This is not my audience. And then eventually they are like, maybe I should not do luxury in India. So
Hmm.
patience goes off.
Correct.
Uh,
And this is a very important thing. I think in business, knowing taking the right lesson from the failure very, very important. The thing
yeah.
is, failure is there, but knowing what is the lesson there is very, very important. You should not learn the wrong lesson.
See, Meta is a good channel,
Hmm.
but it's not the right channel for all categories to start with. So, because of the entire industry and the way industry has been talking about Meta and Google Ads, it is becoming a norm that if I'm starting a digital brand, I have to start with Meta and Google.
Got it.
But ideally, you should think through that strategy again if you have the chance to do that during the launch phase.
What so Atharva, what scenario or what kind of product or a category would you kind of go for? Amazon, like
Amazon first,
marketplace first,
marketplace first.
and
Okay.
website.
So that category would be something like home and kitchenware. Yeah, like that is the best category to start Amazon with because people usually do not look at brands over there first.
Hmm.
They usually look at the usability of the product. So if your price is fitting and if your main USPs are fitting, you do not need to even tell a story about the product. So over there in the kitchen accessories, home decor, and a lot of places where that brand building is going to be secondary.
Hmm.
Like
So essentially, you're
honestly,
saying wherever you're kind of playing a commodity game, then
yeah,
go
yeah,
for
yeah.
Amazon.
Wherever the commodity thing kicks in, and you have like a lot of brands selling a very similar kind of product, and where the brand is going to be secondary. The commodity products, if you're selling a bottle, for example,
Hmm.
even if it's unique
Hmm.
and if it's not super customizable, you should start with Amazon.
Got it.
If you have
And
the right
also, if
price,
you're playing a
have the
price, game, then go for Amazon because over there price is
yeah, yeah,
important.
100%, hundred
Yeah.
percent. If you're a manufacturer, honestly, and if you can play with the price, there's no better channel to start off rather than Amazon. Your story building will happen later on once people get to know about the product and everything. But for a manufacturer, giving that mentality of D2C is also difficult, honestly, because
Correct.
it's a completely different game. You're building a brand rather than playing on volumes.
Correct.